success leaves clues. You don't have to do this, make your own playbook, follow the playbook that your mentor taught you.
Right.
So he said this. He's like, you need to call the brokers, okay? And then once you do call them, you need to follow up on a weekly basis because, they
Oh
want.
my gosh, you called them weekly?
Welcome back to Ladders and Leverage, where we break down real estate investing, syndication, and the mindset it takes to build financial freedom from the ground up. I'm Danny Lampert, firefighter and real estate investor, and I'm joined by my beautiful wife and business partner, Marissa. And today's episode's a little bit different. Instead of having a guest, we are pulling back the curtain on how we actually built GeoLiv. From finding deals, choosing the markets, building broker relationships, and ultimately raising capital from people who trusted us before we even had a track record. So this episode is really for anyone wondering, where do I start and how do I do this the right way? Welcome to the episode, Marissa Buss.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to add my title as well, since you
Please.
added yours, Captain.
Go ahead.
Real estate consultant and real estate investor.
And CFO.
Oh, yeah, CFO
of
too.
GeoLiv.
Of GeoLiv.
That little
That's
small
right.
thing that you do.
That little small thing.
Yeah.
Handling all that.
Yeah. How's that bookkeeping going?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just been amazing learning
Yeah.
a whole new bookkeeping system. It's been great.
But
yeah. Happy New Year's. Here you go. You thought you knew how to do something. Why don't you just start all over?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going to be much better.
Oh, yeah.
For our investors, for us.
It's going to be better for us, like in tracking, and it's way more comprehensive of a system. So
yeah,
especially for your construction stuff. So
no, I'm excited to see that side of it.
Yeah. Then when you ask me how much did I pay so-and-so, I can say, oh, you've paid them this much so far.
No, that's going to be huge.
No, it's great. Anyways, let's get back to today's topic.
All right. So we're going to start with, we looked at California and then we also looked out of state. I mean, our mentor, Vinny Chopra, lives in Northern California.
Yep.
And has never, his first duplex he bought was in California, but all his syndications were out of state.
Right. So we thought we should follow in his footsteps.
Yep.
And look out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And we first looked at what we were looking at. We looked at Arizona, Las Vegas,
Utah,
Idaho, Oregon, a little bit, Washington. Yeah.
So we were looking...
basically staying here on the West Coast.
Yeah. So we were looking at all these different states and then, the out-of-state math versus the local just really...
Oh my gosh, they were the same cap rates.
Right.
And basically, I mean, price per square foot was lower out of state, I will say. You get bigger units for less money. But when it came down to the actual GRMs, the gross rent multipliers and the capitalization rates, they were very similar. So it was like, well, why am I going to go and go into a place I know no one?
Yeah.
I have no one to go check on the buildings if I'm not there. And we realized in California that you could build ADUs on multifamily. And we were like, well, you know what? If we're going to get a similar cap rate in GRM, why not do it here? And then we can add units, because not all the states will let you add units the way California is. So that's when we really were like, all right, let's do California, figure this out. I've been in real estate for almost 20 years now. And I was like, tenants don't really scare me if you know the laws.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And for our business plan, our business plan is huge renovation, value add, and then also adding ADUs. So the proximity on construction oversight and then the tenant relationships, I mean, as you know, I'm at the properties daily, just about, especially we're in the phase of construction. So if we did go out of state, we would have to build that system, which is totally doable.
Yep.
right? You got to have the contractor, you got to have someone who's like on site who can check on things, and it's a whole lot of you know, being there present. So I think that was one of the main reasons for us is like if we can touch it and go visit the properties and really be hands-on, it's going to be better for our investors. Wouldn't you agree?
Right. Well, and who better to manage your own properties
Yeah.
than yourself? That's where I always felt like that's what was my biggest concern, was honestly having a out-of-state management company that would somehow be in cahoots with the handyman and be saying there was these issues and there weren't, and just, yeah, just
Well,
theft,
well,
theft in general.
and how much have we seen? Because we, analyze
Oh, every
deals.
single building we have bought, I have found theft.
Yeah.
Every single building.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I
As
mean,
soon as the numbers are turned over to us, or we buy the building, and then Danny collects all the laundry money,
yeah.
and our girls roll the quarters. We have a machine. They don't do it by hand. But yeah, I mean, laundry money every time.
Oh, remember the
Every
lady
time.
at Harvard?
Yeah.
She was
The on-site manager.
Yeah, she was skimming off the
Yeah.
top because when we got
Well, in the first building we bought, it was their like nephew who or
Oh,
uncle,
that's
like some of
right.
whatever that collected the
Yeah.
money. And they're like, oh, we only get, whatever. And I was like, no, you get way more than that. This guy was just taking his share when he was going
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it really ultimately came down to we're seeing the similar cap rates, right?
Yep.
Utah versus California. And then for us, being everything that we do is value add,
Yep.
That risk tolerance of all the things we just
Yeah.
talked about is why we stayed in California.
Well, and even this last building that we purchased, the on-site manager rented a unit to her mother-in-law and brother-in-law, and their rent is currently at $1,100 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment in Thousand Oaks, and they lived there 10 years, and she raised it $100 over 10 years.
And what's the market for that now?
I mean, in its current condition, at least $2,500.
So $2,500 versus
Yeah.
$1,100.
And she paid no rent for her
Yeah.
apartment. For 23 years she lived there.
And
That's
then
why she hated us
and
when
then
we asked her to leave.
and then another thing is one of the tenants worked for a remediation company.
Her husband.
So they would, whenever they had a water leak,
Yeah.
he would go do the work. So
It's so much. If you're not, that's the, I mean, we're getting off topic, but that's the biggest thing. That's why I do the books. Like there's really no way to truly know if theft is going on in your buildings if you're not involved in
Yep.
your finances, on some sort of at least a weekly level.
Yeah.
Even if you had a bookkeeper, but you should be reviewing your transactions to look, because it's so easy for them to make up stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, people can forge bank statements.
Which
so.
is wild. So
Yeah.
let's
You just
talk
need checks and balances.
checks and balance, 100%. So let's talk a little bit more local. We are only investing in Ventura County, and we have this
Currently, yes.
Ventura County versus LA County. Why Ventura County?
Well, Ventura County, the county follows the statewide rent control. So you have 5% plus CPI. You can raise their rents once a year. There are overlays in cities. I think Oxnard is really the only one that has an actual overlay. So you can only up it 4%. But when you get into Los Angeles County, specifically LA City itself, which is a huge area, has they have rent control. I believe it's up to 3% CPI or up to 3%, depending on whatever CPI is, the max of 3%. So it really limits what you're able to, your rental growth. And with the way that expenses are with utilities, insurance, and any sort of repair costs, it just doesn't make sense. They also enforced the no-fault eviction move-out laws, where if you are a landlord that owns over a certain amount of units, or are a corporation and not just owning in your own name, that you have to pay relocation costs, but their relocation costs are quite exorbitant. So it just doesn't make sense with, and honestly, the cap rates out there are just don't make sense with the interest rates. It's very
Yeah.
difficult.
Yeah.
So we stay in Ventura County. You know, they say your first investment property should be in your backyard, and Ventura County is our backyard.
Yeah.
So
And one thing too that we've noticed through, you know, the years that we've owned these buildings, attorneys. I mean, I've talked to two attorneys that handle evictions, and both of them had said, they asked me when I did the initial interview, talking
yeah,
to them, see if they'd be willing to work with us. And two of them said specifically, I will not represent you on any properties in LA County.
yeah,
And
it's just too
the
hectic.
reason for that is they told me that the judges there are 100% on the tenant side. Landlords are looked as villains, and I mean it's unreal. Even that story with
Well, I
Remy.
mean, if a landlord doesn't follow protocols of the way that the laws are written, I agree. Like, then the tenant should not be forced to move out. But, you know, everything was followed correctly and you're not paying your rent and you've been there for several months, like nobody's running a charity.
Yeah.
So there are charities to help you. That's why, you know, for us, Ventura County also has a homeless initiative where our tenants who, you know, a lot of our tenants are manual labor and they, you know, it rains. They can't go and do roofing when it's raining.
Right.
So they don't have enough income coming in. Well, we can refer them to the Ventura County Homeless Agency, and they're able to work with them and pay several months of their rent to get them to be able to catch up. So that's one of the benefits here in Ventura County. I feel like I'm sure there's other things for LA County, but that's really why why we're here in Ventura County at the moment.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. So like we know that, well, we move to another county or another state, you have to then learn what are their programs. Do they have anything to help tenants who fall behind?
Right.
Because people have emergencies. Like we had a tenant who moved in and had a baby right away and went on
Yeah.
disability and things just, you know, she needed help getting some rent paid till she was able to go back to work. So
Yeah.
it's really just knowing things like the contractors, knowing the different programs that are available to support
Right.
your tenants if they're having a hard time. All of those things you have to learn brand new in a different state.
Yeah.
And in a different state, totally different than California. We have very, you know, nice weather here. We don't have to winterize anything. You and I mean, we would be like, what are we supposed to be doing to
Yeah,
our
with the
pipes?
pipes and that.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, there's all different things that you have to learn going to a new area where if you've been living in this area for the last however many years, you already have that
Yeah.
information. So it's just, I feel like
Yeah.
it just worked out nicely.
No, and even, I mean, jumping back to the out of state, so you would have to not just know the state guidelines, but not even just the county, but city by city. Just like here in Ventura County, we have five or six cities within Ventura County.
Yes.
Most of them follow the state, and one does not, has their own rent stabilization act. So that could be the same thing. You go to Utah and you invest in Park
Yes.
City, you know, they may have a different, you know, Park City has their own overlay. So you really, and we're not saying don't invest out of state because there are many successful out of state investors, but you really have to do your due diligence.
Well, and I think that the other thing that California is landlocked, right? So specifically Ventura County, you're landlocked between the mountains and the ocean. So if you do value add like we do and you remodel your units, you're able to capitalize and get that higher rent because we don't have endless amounts of land. Like Texas was another place we looked at. I forgot
That's
about
right.
that.
Yeah.
Like they can build and build and build. You know, it's flat.
Yeah.
We don't have that here in California
Good
because
point.
you have geographical boundaries
Yep.
that are just natural that you can't. So one of our friends who they said their family bought a building, I think it was in Ohio, and their plan was to raise the rents $50 a month. People moved out over it. People are not going to move out over a $50 a month increase once a year here in California. Like that's just not going to happen. And, you know, the same thing. So you have different projections that you think, oh, well, I can project that I'm going to get this rental appreciation. Well, when you have a lot of inventory to select from that
Yep.
is lower priced or similar priced, well, you can't then necessarily force that appreciation. I mean, we do things a little different. Like, we don't go in and just do some carpet and paint. We
Yeah.
rip out the full units. We're putting in brand new kitchens, brand new bathrooms. So luxury vinyl flooring, white shaker cabinets, white quartz countertops, like
Yeah.
black hardware. Like, we are making our units like really nice.
Right.
So there's not much competition for our type of unit because of that. And we've proven that over and over again, that then people see that value and we stay in kind of the middle to lower end market. But, we have a client or an investor with us, invested in Texas, 7 years. They were supposed to be sold by now. She has not received one distribution.
Yep.
So, we've been on time with all of our distributions from our business plan, at 2 years when we say we were refinanced and after we did the ADUs and we get out of our bridge debt, we're sending distributions and sending them quarterly. So I think that that's really like for us, we just found a lot of value in staying here locally where we were able to control most of the aspects of it
Right.
versus going out of state and having to learn so many new things and trust so many people to take care of things. And I know there's good people out there in property management. I'm not saying that there's not. There's plenty of really good, hardworking people in all of the industries, real estate and all of it. But sometimes you don't realize who you're getting into a contract with. And then some of those things can be hard to undo and can cost you a lot of money, where both of us being a little type A and you being a micromanager, me not so much. I'm a delegator.
You think I'm a micromanager?
100% you are a micromanager. Oh my gosh. Ask anyone who works with us. Yes, you are a micromanager.
Okay. Well, let me just say something. I'm working on it.
Well, that's good. But yeah, so, you would be going insane micromanaging people out of state.
Oh, could you imagine?
I couldn't imagine for you.
We would have to get some sort of like friendly flyer discount because I would be flying out there all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I might as well get an apartment there.
I was just about to say that. I'm like, you would be moving in the building and these people would be like, what is wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
Like,
that's so funny.
That's like one of our on-site managers in Oxnard. He said he met the old owner who owned it for 4 years or 5 years, like twice. Danny's there. Why isn't the laundry room clean? And he's like, what the heck? Like, all of these on-site managers are used to like no supervision and just like running it the way they want. And then here comes Danny each week collecting the quarters and just like, what's going on here? What's this? What's that?
Yeah. Well, I care.
You do care.
So,
you do.
So switch gears a little bit on broker relationships and deal flow. So, I mean, maybe this is a question more for me. But
I was going to say, you kind of headed that up. Like,
yeah.
I kind of, I delegated that to you.
You did.
In the beginning. I said, why don't you? Well, and you want to know why? Okay. So this is like when I was in commercial real estate from 2006 to 2010, before I went into residential.
Okay.
If I called out of state and asked for the OM marketing package, right, for a property, if I called and asked for it for myself, they wouldn't send it because it is such an old boys club in commercial real estate.
Oh.
And so I knew to have you create the relationships. So these sexist commercial real estate brokers would actually send you the info. So then I can underwrite the deal and see if it makes sense.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. I never heard you say that, but it's
that
so true.
Is 100% why I delegated that to you.
I mean, it really is kind of like an old boys club.
Yeah, it is.
So I would say, so how did I build relationships with brokers, especially when we weren't big buyers yet?
We weren't any buyers.
Yeah.
So we owned our 7 unit and then you started calling them.
So here's what I did. So I went on LoopNet, I went on Crexy, and I this is what Vinny, my mentor, right? Success leaves clues. You don't have to do this, make your own playbook, follow the playbook that your mentor taught you.
Right.
So he said this, he's like, you need to call the brokers, okay? And then once you do call them, you need to follow up on a weekly basis because, they
Oh
want.
my gosh, you called them weekly?
I think I didn't follow it exactly. I think I did every 2 weeks.
If I had an investor call me weekly asking if
Yeah.
I had a fixer for them to buy,
Yeah.
I would block them.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, I didn't get blocked, but my conversation would be in the beginning. I mean, I remember I called Nick
Henry?
number one broker in Ventura County.
Yeah.
And really, my conversation would be like this. Hey, my name's Danny. I'm our company is GeoLiv Investment Group.
And he's like, who?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Who?
Yeah. And that's what it really was. But I was just like, hey, we're new. I know that you have your list of buyers that you're gonna send to first.
Did you pull the firefighter card?
Oh yeah. Always. Because that opens up the
They automatically trust you
automatically,
because
right?
you're a firefighter. We know.
Yeah. So of course, hey, I'm Danny. I'm a fire captain for Oxnard. And, we're looking for this type of deal. And I know you're going to send it to your top guys first. And I get that and I respect that. But hey, maybe there's a deal out there that, needs a lot of work or it's a value add and they're not looking for that, and this is what we are looking for. So that was my initial conversation. And then I would follow up. Usually it was mostly like a text message. Hey, just checking in, do you have a deal? This and that. And it wasn't just Nick. It was, probably 10 brokers
Yeah.
in the area. And I started building relationships that way. And then he had sent us the deal on Preble.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And Preble was probably a 30-unit building in
Yeah.
Ventura. And this is exactly what happened. Like what I said on the phone call. Of course, you're going to send it to your guys first. And we wrote an offer on the building, and he ended up selling it to a more experienced, seasoned syndicator.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No problem. We lost out on that deal. But anyways, the next time he did call me, and we ended up closing a deal together. So really, it for everyone out there that's starting out, you want to just start by building that relationship, but you got to be consistent in your follow-up.
Yeah.
I'm sure they get, and I
mean, I get plenty of calls
Yeah.
just being a residential agent and people looking for deals. And you do have to, you want to stay top of mind.
Yeah.
For sure. One phone call is not going to do it.
Right. And that's exactly what you
Yeah.
mostly get is like one phone call and
Yeah.
then they're going to forget you, right?
Okay, but I have to put in a little like on Preble. Okay. So, yeah, he sold Preble to another buyer. We bought Harvard at
Yep.
the same time. Okay. 24 units in Santa Paula. We built we renovated 13 units.
13.
13 units, added 6 ADUs, refinanced out of our bridge loan within 2 years. And what happened to Preble?
They haven't even built the ADUs yet.
Yeah. And isn't he looking at potentially would look at selling it?
He would sell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he did get out of his debt and then.
Yeah, he had to refinance out of his bridge loan because he didn't get his business plan off the ground.
Yeah.
Yep.
So showing up prepared.
So a little woo woo for GeoLiv.
Yes, exactly. But showing up
Just
prepared.
Gonna pat myself on the back,
Yeah,
like
good.
Tony Robbins says.
Good job.
Yeah.
Following through.
High five.
Give your honest. Oh my gosh. So, but also here's one thing that Vinny did say also. When they send you a deal, okay, and they're going to send you a deal, you need to underwrite the deal and get back to them within 48 hours.
Oh my gosh. Is
Whether-
that a new standard?
Whether you like it. No, in the beginning, we would do that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now we don't have to do that as much. We get to it when we can. But that's what you have to do. You have to get back to them.
Well, you do have to do it within a certain amount of time,
Yeah.
timely if you want to. I mean, every building we've bought, when I probably have underwritten it within 48 to 72
Yeah.
hours. Because like Taylor was just saying previously, you definitely, good buildings are going to sell within the first week or two.
Yep.
So you got to get your offer in.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. No, so we did that.
That's important, the follow-up, right?
Mhm.
So they're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, they're actually looking at the deal." Whether it pencils out for you or not, at least say
Yes or no.
yes or no.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so do we look for our own deals or do we rely on brokers? So that's I'm curious,
Right now, so
in the
beginning,
beginning.
in the very beginning, we look for our own deals, and the first 2 deals we bought were actually just on the MLS, so they would have been on Realtor.com, Zillow, you could have looked for them on either of those websites, and yeah, we just
What are some ways that, a new investor starting out, not just solely relying on brokers, like how can they get deals contacting?
So I honestly think the best way, so like if I get a client who comes to me and they want to buy like a smaller, like 5 units and under, I'm gonna go and look on the MLS, which is Realtor.com, and I'm gonna look for anything that's over 30 days
Okay, why is that?
because it's sitting. So the first deal that we syndicated, Yale, had been on the market over 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 6-unit building listed for 1.2 million, horrible condition, listed as all 1-1s. And we called the listing agent directly. That's another thing. We never, even though we are both licensed agents, we never represent ourselves on our own deals.
Why is that?
Well, number one, for liability, I feel like it's really important to have a real estate professional be guiding you through it. We do allow the listing agents to represent us. And being a licensed agent and having probably been involved with over $1 billion in transactions over the last 20 years, I feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
That I can see if they're negotiating more for the seller than they are for me because, I mean,
You've done it.
well, because I'm going to negotiate no matter what.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we did let the listing agent represent us on Yale. On Harvard, the broker brought that to us.
Right.
So what I would do if I was a new investor is I would go on Realtor.com or Zillow and I would look up all the buildings that have been on the market for over 2 weeks, basically, because they're sitting there stale. 30 days, definitely over. And the thing that most agents are not proactively getting price reductions because they're very afraid to ask for a price reduction. It's not that a seller wouldn't sell it for less. Yes, there are some unreasonable sellers that are sitting there and will not sell it for less, and they're just unreasonable and they're never going to sell, right? But there's a lot of sellers that if they had an offer in front of them, even if it was 10% lower, they would accept it. It's just that buyer's agents don't educate their clients. They think that you have to sell at list or be very close to it. Like I just had a client who was looking at a $900,000 4-unit in lovely Palmdale. And I pulled the comps and I said, honestly, like, yeah, there's one that sold for 900, but really it's closer to around here. And based on the rents, it should be closer to here. We got it into contract for $840,000.
Wow.
Okay. Also written as is. I always love it when people put that in.
Yeah.
And this is a thing too that I've had on every single one of our commercial buildings. Our second one we bought, Harvard, was in 2022. So the market was pretty hot still from COVID.
Yeah.
And I said that I wanted a closing cost credit of, I think it was like $68,000. And he's like, oh, no, you can't ask for that. I'm like, I want you to write up a request for repairs with a closing cost credit for $68,000. Here's my invoices. And they gave it to us. I'm like, I offered you list price. I didn't actually even offer you lower. And yeah, they will. And the agent could not believe it, that we got a closing cost credit.
Yeah.
And every single property do. So this 4-unit, so listed at 900, got it into escrow for what? That's like 15% below, 60,000 off, right? Or no, that math is wrong. So 10% would have been 90. So it's like 7% off. Okay. So got it for $840. They said, as is, all of this. We asked for a $16,000 closing cost credit based on the inspection reports. The agent had never even been in the units. Oh yeah.
Lovely.
Gotta love your armchair agent. So he's in San Diego, takes a listing in Palmdale, and then he never goes in the units. And I'm like, you haven't even been in the units?
Yeah.
You haven't even
right.
like, so you're telling me you priced it based on a building that had 2 of their units remodeled that closed, and their rents are significantly higher. I said, that's not how investment properties work.
Yeah.
This isn't residential. Like, this isn't a single family home. So they signed off. We got a $16,000 closing cost credit on that one. So that's where I always sign off on contracts that say as is. I never argue it. I say, no problem. And then we do our inspections. And then I ask for my closing cost credit.
Right. And I mean, worst
And
they
you
can
support
say,
it.
worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
But to your point, if you're not, a seasoned real estate professional and you can represent yourself, you need to find.
But I still find value being a seasoned real estate professional, having a real estate agent represent me.
Yeah.
Also, if you want to get the best deals to come before they hit the market, you have to let that broker represent you.
Yeah. And why is that?
And sometimes they are going to list it and sometimes they're not, right? Because in commercial, a lot of owners will just let people know about it and give the brokers a preview, and then they send it out to their clients, and then they might have another broker that's going to represent him, but they don't want to necessarily put it on the market. So the reason you always let the broker who brings you the deal represent you is because you want him to bring you the next deal.
Yeah.
And if I said, I've even had them ask, like, oh, do you want me to give you a referral fee? Because technically they could pay me a 25% referral fee or however much I wanted to ask for. And I say no, because I want them to bring me the next deal. And I respect that they are providing me a service, because they're the ones cold calling every day, spending the money on the mailers. They're the ones hunting for those leads that are off market that I don't have the time to go and hunt.
Yeah.
And if I always waited for a listing to come on the market, well, there's plenty we would have never bought.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't have seen them.
Yeah. And another reason that you're going to do that is they are, a lot of times the ones that are holding the listing, they want to get both sides of the transaction. So they're going to, if you try to represent yourself or have another agent represent you, they may have another buyer.
It's just good business practice to always use the agent who brings you the deal.
Yeah.
Because that, like, to bring in your own agent on top of that is like, they're never going to send you another deal.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying
it muddies the water.
I'm talking about if they didn't bring you the deal, you can still call them.
Yeah, the listing agent, and have them represent you. For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, be careful as a newer investor. I actually don't suggest that as much. I think it's very important to have your own representation if you are not seasoned in purchasing.
100%. Because their interest isn't necessarily for you.
Especially if you're brand new.
Yeah. So that you can get taken advantage of.
Well, that seller probably has multiple buildings left. And so they're like, well, I want to do good by this seller because I want to get the next listing from him. When you're just starting out, they're like, well, you're not going to sell a building for 5 years. So they're going to represent, no matter what, even though they're a fiduciary, they're going to represent that seller better, more. They're going to lean towards them. That's why I actually, on my listings, I tell people, I'm like, no, you can write through one of my partners in the office. I don't want to represent both sides.
Yep. No, that's an excellent point. So we'll switch gears a little bit, and I want to talk about capital raising.
Your favorite. You've been wanting to talk about this.
I know. So I finally get a little segment on it.
Yep.
So let's talk about capital raising money in the beginning. So
all right.
First deal, what did that actually look like?
So for me, well, you should start. So every deal, I am the one who is like underwriting it and trying to figure out loans. So I always start later.
Yeah. Well,
so how does it start? You should start with how the capital raising starts.
So in the beginning, I mean, it's evolved.
You have micromanager Captain Danny.
Yes, but we're not even talking about that part yet, because it was just you and I.
Are you talking about Yale?
I'm talking about Yale.
Oh, well, Yale, we closed with our own money.
I know. Can we just talk about how we raised money for it?
Do it.
Okay. So in the beginning with that one, we put together a presentation. Okay. And what we did was Vinny had presentations. We took those presentations and basically copied them.
It's like a PowerPoint
PowerPoint, and made a PowerPoint presentation.
Yep.
So in the beginning, we either had the investors to the office. We would just be like a single couple would come over
Yep.
to the office, or even at home.
Yep.
We had them come on our couch, and they would come, and I would put it on the TV, the
Yep.
whole PowerPoint.
Our 3 dogs trying to sit in their lap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Super
my gosh.
annoying.
So funny how we
obnoxious.
did it in the
Yep.
beginning. They would come over. We
Yep.
would do the presentation. I mean, that could take an hour, sometimes longer.
Oh,
Depending,
yeah. We met people at restaurants.
Yeah.
We had like printouts of the PowerPoint.
And depending
Yep.
on how much Marissa talked, I mean, they could go up to as
100%.
much 2 hours.
Yeah.
And so that's how we did in the beginning. And that was extremely time consuming,
Oh, yeah.
took a long time. But that's how, we did in the beginning. So then as it evolved, we're like, oh, we should film a webinar.
So we invited everyone to the webinar.
We invite everyone to the
Is
webinar.
how we did it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Remember? So we set up and we did a Zoom
Mm-hmm.
and we invited people to come to it.
That's
and
right.
then we recorded it with people online watching it, so that then we had like the people with questions afterwards. So then we had the recorded Zoom, and then you would make your like Chat GPT texts of the highlights of the deal.
Yep.
And then we would have the YouTube link to the recorded Zoom, and we would text that out to people. And then that was kind of how we just started collecting people, and we had spreadsheets that we would put down. And we have like a group text. So like with whoever the general partner is with us, because it's always me and Danny and then other people. And we have a group text, and it's like it's like a little adrenaline rush. You're like, yeah, I got 50 grand. Yeah, I got 100 grand. Yeah, I got 200 grand. Well, And so that was how we did them all up until the last one, which I said.
Yeah.
And you were like very resistant to. I'm like, just blast out an email to everyone. So we recorded the Zoom
without inviting people. There's no.
Yeah, we learned that.
We're
that
like,
was
why
hilarious.
do we need to have like this live? Let's just record it and then send it out.
Yeah, because then if we like made mistakes, we could like stop it and whatever and like redo it.
Yeah, because you don't want to. If you're gonna send out, like, let's say you do a live one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then Joe investor says, hey, I got a question about this. And then, Sally says, oh, I got a question about this.
What is a syndication?
Yeah. So you're sending this out to people and it's longer than it should because it's got those questions. So.
And in the beginning, do you remember that we went over what a syndication was in the beginning of our PowerPoint?
We did.
And then we're sending this to people who have invested in multiple syndications and they're like, why do I have to sit through 30 minutes of you explaining what a syndication is, how to invest in your IRA, and what a cost segregation is? Like, so for like your savvy investors, they're like, yeah, and you lost me because I don't have 30 minutes to get through to the 30 minutes that I need to listen to.
Yes. Yeah. It's so funny how
it evolves.
It evolves.
Yeah.
So, and then me being the obsessive person I am, so I would follow all these syndicators and I would, I'm on their email list. I mean, that's what you have to do in the beginning. You really have to just
it's really
dive
important.
in and be obsessed with it because you got to, the terminology is different from what you know and all this.
Especially if you're not in real estate.
Right. So, it takes a while to like understand everything. And then I would see these guys, okay, I got a deal. They would send the email out, just as we're talking about, summary, and then they would include the Zoom. And then 3 days later, this guy's got a $4 million raise. He's like, okay, sorry, we're full. We're starting a wait list.
And Danny's like, I can't wait till we can be there.
I can't wait till we can be there. And then
so Danny's like that. And then so I said to him on the last one, I was like, can we just film the Zoom, make an email with like all the like highlights of the deal and email blast it? And he was like, I like to send out individual emails and da-da. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. Well, I don't like have time to send out individual emails because I'm trying to like figure out all the back end stuff. So then he finally agrees because I annoyed him enough to do it. And he does it. And we funded it in 4 days.
Yeah. So our last deal, I finally got to that point, or we got to that point as one of those syndicators.
Yeah.
I think we raised $4 million in 4 days, or no, I'm sorry,
$2 million.
$2 million.
We raised our portion in 4 days.
Yeah.
And then our other GPs are like, we're going. But yeah, so we got to that point where, it's just like talking about like using AI on things. It's like you have to use things, and now you have to use things that like help you leverage your time, because the
Yes.
one thing that we all have an infinite or not an infinite amount of, and we all have this exact same of, is time.
Yep.
So now we've gotten to a point where like you've been making this amazing newsletter for, I don't know, a couple years now.
Yeah.
So people have subscribed to that. So we have an email database
Mhm.
of people. And so, and then now too, like with the new investment manager software program we have, like we can create a fundraising page and email out that link. And then on our next deal, it's like that link will be there. And then they can even put in their soft commitment, and then it tracks it all for you. And it's just, I mean, we are just next level, babe, from doing presentations on our couch with the dogs.
Yep.
Yep.
To sending out emails, and now with your new software system, I
Yep.
mean, it's tracking everything.
We're looking real
So
professional.
how about this this example from the other day? We go to your real estate holiday party,
Yeah.
and
My company party. And this lady comes up to one of our investors and she goes, "So when are we closing on the next deal or on this deal?" And we're like, "We closed." And she's like, "I told you I wanted to put in 100,000." And I'm like, "Danny."
And so that was the third investor that
Yeah.
I forgot about.
We got the other two in because we just told the
Yeah.
GPs, we're like, "We're going to put these
that's right.
people in and you don't have to raise as much." So we like
Yeah.
actually over raised. But
So
Yep.
that's why, systems are
Yes.
extremely important.
Yes, we had holes in it because we tried to like manually do so much of it
Yeah.
ourselves. Like, oh, I'm sending out these texts, and then I'm sending out this like individual email, and then I'm putting it on a Google Drive that's shared. And it's like so many people get lost in the shuffle that, and the other thing one of our GPs told us to do was to take that, 30-minute, hour-long presentation
Yep.
and do like a 5-6 minute one of just the highlights of it, of like why you love that deal. And so, I did that and sent that out to people, which is easier. Not everybody has that much time. And then if they like it, they can watch the full thing, and we jump on calls with people who have
Yeah,
questions.
of course.
Still, like there's still follow-up presentations.
Yeah. No, exactly. So, I mean, it's evolved, and that's how the process is. I mean, you learn by doing,
Yes.
and we're still learning. And I mean, and we've been doing it for,
We're improving on our systems
Yeah.
in place for sure. And
Right.
then we're manipulating like our business plan. I think like being flexible in that is huge.
Yeah.
Because we've had to maneuver and do different things, and you enter different markets,
Yeah.
even in the same county, and you're like, oh, these people want all, laundry and unit. That's a big deal. That's not as big of a deal out in different areas.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just managing those.
Yeah.
Understanding the expectations and then improvising to create those within your business plan.
100%. 100%. So then we'll kind of move into this next topic of partnerships and roles. So I'm talking about a syndication, right?
Okay.
So you have a general partner, and then, you have your limited partners. So we're general partners on the deal, but we also bring in
Our own cash. So
Oh,
then we're a limited partner
we
too.
bring in other partners.
Oh, other general partners.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you divide those roles, and why does that matter?
You want me to talk about this? Okay. So when we bring in a general partner, we generally just have them raise money, and then they have to be on the loan. So they have to provide liquidity and like loan guarantor and all
Net
that
worth.
stuff. Net worth. They help in those aspects. And then they are on the investor updates quarterly. Yeah, that's kind of, I mean, sometimes they provide like
Yeah.
a little bit of like design feedback here and there.
Yeah.
But really overall, then after that, it's really, well, even during, it's really you and I. Like
Yeah.
you're doing all the construction and figuring out what's it going to cost, what are we going to do, who's going to do it. I'm figuring out the loans and the insurance and underwriting the deal 50 different ways to make sure, like, well, what if you can't build the ADUs? What if, you only get half the people to move out? Like all different worst case scenarios.
Yeah. So really what it comes down to is, Marissa and I as general partners, we're going to do the initial acquisition. So we're deal float. So it all comes full circle, right? From the relationships, from the brokers, the deal comes in, we check out the deal. Marissa underwrites the deal, right?
Yeah. Then we go inspect it. We do like a walkthrough usually before we write the offer,
So
just to like look at it in person.
Okay. So then we're like, okay, yeah, this deal makes sense.
We send it to our man, Salvador, make sure that we can add ADUs.
And then once we decide, okay, this is a deal. Now we don't have unlimited investors where we can always fund, just ourselves. So that's why we bring on the other partners.
Right.
So that aspect is, Marissa, we underwrite, we make sure we have a deal, and then we're like, okay, we got to raise $8 million. Okay, let's bring on 2 other partners. We'll each raise, a total of 4 partners. We're each going to raise $2 million each. And those partners, like you said, they're there for net worth, they're there for liquidity, and they're going to be a guarantor on the loan.
Yeah.
And then after that, their role is just being part of the deal. And then once we get into the deal, then the roles, are as such, right? So you are doing the bookkeeping.
Yeah, I do all the back end financials, and then I do the refinance when we're done with the ADUs, and you're doing all the construction.
So
from the renovations to the ADUs to all of it. Yeah.
So you have to have,
we do all the sexy stuff, it's super
totally.
sexy.
So Marissa's on the back end doing
On the back end.
Yeah. Doing the bookkeeping, and then I'm going to be your project manager, overseeing the construction costs, budget, working
Plan captain.
hand in hand with the contractors, the city permits, and then also, with the architect, working hand in hand with them. So those are really the roles that, come together.
Yeah, but not every syndication, depending on how you do yours. Like ours is a huge value add forced depreciation play.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not doing all that, like it would be much simpler because you would only be getting one loan from the beginning. You wouldn't be doing all the crazy stuff we do.
Right.
We just like to get wild. We're just like, how can we make this deal like a lot of work?
Yeah, we just love to just put a lot of pressure and work in our laps.
Yep. Yep.
So,
yep.
We always end every episode with a rapid 5.
Oh.
And you don't even know what I'm about to ask you. So hopefully
I hope it's like, what do I want for my birthday? Because, that's coming up. And I think you should ask me that. Go ahead.
I already have that written down. You already told me. So, in one sentence, what is the single most important rule we follow when choosing a new location?
First of all, I can't talk in one sentence.
Okay.
Unless it's a really long sentence.
You can do multiple.
Okay. In one sentence, can you repeat the question?
What is the single most important rule we follow when we're choosing a new location? Or what do we look at when we're choosing a new location? Let's say we're...
Knowledge of the area.
Okay.
And what all the, local ordinances are to make sure that we can fulfill our business plan, which is a value add forced depreciation play. Because that's really important, because if we can't do that, then it totally changes our underwriting.
Exactly.
Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
You got that right.
I didn't know if you have answers. You've already asked ChatGPT what I should be saying.
Oh, here's a good one.
Oh, good.
What is one thing that I do
that annoys me?
That Marissa would never want to do, or vice versa?
Propel from buildings, climb up really big ladders.
Yeah, we're talking about real estate.
Oh, okay. One thing that you do that I would never want to do, collect quarters.
Okay. And then one thing that...
Oh, and then clean up after plumbing has exploded. Yeah, you've sent some pictures of that I would never do.
All right, so you wouldn't want to be involved in the kind of gross side of construction.
100%. No, thank you. That's why I never worked in the medical field. God bless them.
So one thing that
true angels.
I would never want to do that you do.
Anything with spreadsheets.
Bookkeeping is absolutely hard no. I'm glad you enjoy that.
Yeah, I
in
like
some
to see where the
fashion.
money goes.
Yeah.
Someone has to.
What is one or what's a specific nightmare scenario that we avoid by staying within driving distance of our assets?
I think we're able to mitigate theft better than people who are relying on. But I mean, it depends. I guess they must be putting that in their underwriting that there's going to be some level of theft.
Yeah.
And kind of like retail, right? Everyone pays higher prices than we really have to pay because they are mitigating for theft. So I assume that's what the larger syndicators do who are out of state. They just maybe underwrite, a higher vacancy so that then that way it all pans out.
Mhm.
But I feel for us being local and being able to go to my buildings whenever I want to go,
Yeah.
whenever you want to go, and you're always at the buildings, I would say that. I would say mitigating theft.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. So now that we have Appfolio and a streamlined process, what is one big goal we're chasing for our investors this year with these new systems?
I think just better
Yeah,
transparency
I would
is
agree.
something that's like really big to me because I believe in an open book system. Like
Mhm.
I get not everybody wants to do bookkeeping, but I love being able to be like, "Hey, like this is your investment too." And when you invest in the stock market, you're just such a small element of them. Like you own such a small piece. And yes, you get annual reports and what have you, and most of us never read them. But on this level, you're investing on usually generally a larger portion of money to put into one, right? $50,000 and above. And I love that these systems allow me that if someone was like, "Hey, you went over that P&L and L and that balance sheet on the investor update, and I have some questions on it. Like, what was in legal that was so high and was $10,000?" And it's like, "Hey, let's jump on a Zoom
Yeah.
and go through this and let me show you exactly what the transactions are in there."
Yeah.
Because I've been on many boards and am on multiple boards, and I feel like transparency is the biggest thing for me because if you can't jump on a Zoom with me right now and go through your bookkeeping, someone's stealing
Yeah.
is what it would make me feel like.
Right.
Like, and that's what I like, I mean, I offer it. No one's really taken me up on it yet. Maybe someone will, but that's what I feel like is huge with these systems is just providing that, hey, there are multiple things that go on in the economy that we have zero control over that affect real estate
Yeah.
greatly, right? But we know that the things that we can control, trying to control construction costs, tenants and them paying their rents, I mean, yes, you can sometimes you get in a little bit of trouble with people who are not paying, but we're on it like pretty fast
Right.
and trying to mitigate that. Um, but yeah, so I just feel like as long as and then bookkeeping, right? And making sure that like every dollar is accounted for and goes to the correct, place and isn't being misspent on someone's personal items is huge. And that's really what I feel like is the biggest benefit
Yeah.
for those is that I can literally.
Yeah. And I mean, I see it. It's a ton of work implementing this new system, but really the overall goal is why we're moving is because it's going to provide more transparency to our investors, which is number one. And we've actually heard that from some of our seasoned investors that
Yeah.
they really appreciate, and this is for anybody that's doing a deal, the investors appreciate the communication.
Yes.
They
That's
appreciate
huge.
the transparency, and that's why we do our first 3 months, we do, an
Once a month.
update, yeah, once a month we do an update, and then through the whole deal, quarterly, you're gonna get a live update from us.
Yeah.
Um,
That then we record, and if people can't make
yeah,
it, we're sending out a YouTube link and, sending out a written summary of it so that
yeah,
that way we can just try to keep people, um,
and
aware. And then the
informed,
other
yeah,
thing is like the investor manager portion of that Appfolio system allows people at any time to be able to pull up their phone and show people what their returns are that they're actually
yeah,
getting. And so I feel like that's just,
yeah.
a huge bonus.
No, it is. I mean, we all
That's
invest.
not a very quick final 5.
I know we did go a little long, but
And it wasn't just me being chatty this time.
but just to wrap it up, I mean, it's you invest in a stock or you invest in a company, like what do you get? You get every year they
You
send
get
you
your
a,
like shareholders report.
yeah, a package that you never
It's
look
just
at,
not personalized.
you know.
Yeah.
So, that's one thing. If you're going to be syndicating deals and you're going to be doing that, you want to be open, you want to be transparent. And that's why, we've had the success that we've had, is because we are open and we're transparent, and that builds
Well,
trust.
your biggest risk in a syndication is your sponsors.
100%.
Like if you don't know who your sponsors are and your sponsors aren't willing to be transparent with you, like that's what should be a red flag.
Yeah.
It
So-
should be that you should have access to whoever's doing the books, and hopefully they are on top of their
Yeah.
bookkeeper if they're not doing it themselves.
Well,
But yeah, for me, I'd rather do it myself because I have worked in multiple companies where the bookkeeper has stolen over $1 million. And there's no way if I'm taking other people's money,
yeah.
I need to make sure that every penny is accounted for. And truly the only way to do that is to be in your books.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I just want to say thank you for joining me on today's
anytime. I
episode.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to meet you here anytime.
Yeah. So, and to everybody, thank you for joining. And Ladders and Leverage, if you could please like and share this
Please,
episode.
we really would appreciate it.
We hope you're getting value from it, because that's truly what we're trying to do, is provide value to people who are looking
This
to...
is not just a date for us.
No.
This is us trying to provide value.
Yeah. So thank you for joining. We'll see you next time.
Bye.